Welcome into the LTU Sports Network. Greetings, everyone. I'm Jason Ross Jr. Glad to be here with you for another LTU women's soccer broadcast, our fourth of 10 on the season. It's a delight to have you. Blue Devils taking on Purdue Northwest tonight here in our second Under the Lights match in Lawrence Tech Athletics history. The Blue Devils come in at 3-1, looking to seize control against an 0-1 Purdue Northwest Pride team. Hoping for continued success and continued momentum are the Blue Devils. Madison Turley back in the goalkeeper duties once again after Rebecca Almendoz suffered the injury, and Turley impressed in her debut last Friday. Calm, collected, a clean sheet, and a 1-0 victory over Roosevelt. On the other side, Haley Stork, the freshman at 5'2", making her debut. Out of Stanwood, Michigan. Here is Turley. Alexa Vega, the junior, 5'1". She scored 4 goals in her sophomore year. If this Pride team has any chance of getting going offensively today, it'll be through the likes of Vega. McNeil, another threat. Offense, certainly an issue that most think this Pride team will have this year. Nybor delivers in. The Pride are currently suffering through a historic drought, 16 consecutive match losses. It's been 682 days, a long 682 days since Purdue Northwest's last victory, 317 days since Purdue Northwest last scored a goal. And here's Vega once more. Up ahead for Sydney Harrison, looking to advance it forward. Momentarily slipping behind the defense was Brooke Switzer. Switzer, watched cautiously by Bologna. Jordan Messing gives chase after it, delivers up ahead. Alexis Barnes getting the start tonight. Messing, the senior captain, trying to produce much motivation for her team, along with a couple of other seniors. We don't see Torres out there right now. First corner of the night to be delivered by the Pride. It'll be Shayna Coy, the senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana. 3 goals as a freshman for Coy. Wozniak. Blue Devils looking to settle into this one on the offensive side of things, looking to counterattack now. Pushing up ahead goes Nybor. She's got McClay to her left. She'll reverse over towards the direction of Caitlin Mather. Switzer looking and in search of Shelby Ross, one of the seniors on this Purdue Northwest team that once again will have to produce if there's any chance tonight for the Pride, coming in off a 9-0 loss. Feels like there's been a relatively large, relatively decent amount of space early on in the midfield. Pride have pushed it up a couple of times. And now here's Alexis Barnes going back to Jordan Messing. Caitlin Mather, who got off to such a hot start, trying to settle it down there. Mather, the sophomore 5'9" from Bloomfield. She's once again gotten off to quite the start. 2 goals through 4 games. Had 1 a season ago. Here's Bologna, the crosser in. Looking in search of the vicinity of Sydney McClay there, who scored the lone goal last Friday night against Roosevelt. Silverman chips it on back. Silverman once more. Here's Alexa Vega looking, probing, searching, watched cautiously there by Nybor. Playing it back and trying to methodically look for space. A nice run through the middle there made by Marissa Jane, pushing it down ahead. Galloping in search. There's a shot and a nice save made by Turley, coming out her first big test of the night. Once again, Turley impressed in her debut and nearly with a chance to score their first goal as the corner comes in and out of the reach that time of Rachel Inglese, the 5'8" junior. I mentioned it's been 317 days since Purdue Northwest last scored a goal, and they came quite close there. The Blue Devils under siege, having to get back. Now looking to push it up. Here goes Wozniak with speed, streaking down the left-hand side. Goes Nybor down the middle. Goes Mather. Drops it back to Treller McClay, looking to settle down a ball. Now can Purdue Northwest produce a counterattack? Jordan Messing steps up into the midfield, the senior defender. Mather. Just high. Mentioned that victory last Friday for the Blue Devils. Such a momentous occasion. First under the lights sporting events in LTU history that kick-started a weekend to remember for the Blue Devils. First football game in 72 years, and it was quite the scene. Over 1,000 people, 1,800 about, that were standing well above capacity. 3,872, I believe. Navigating her way down here goes Shelby Ross, one of the offensive threats for this Purdue team. Cameron Rosbach. On over to Marissa Jane in the midfield. Jane, 10 starts as a junior, now a senior. Pushing it up, here goes Silverman. She has Wozniak with her, galloping and striding. Couldn't quite make it past. Chopped down, though. And Silverman a tad bit slow to get up. A true threat there. Probably the first opportunity for the Blue Devils. And we've seen them have a couple, but that one nearly a golden opportunity for Laura Silverman down there with Wozniak onside. Here is Wozniak, the header. Falls right into the lap of Rachel Inglese. Soto to Switzer. Passionate defensive effort produced by Mather. Shot on goal early on for Purdue Northwest. Now Wozniak looking to split her way through. Turned back. Erica Hoffman. Over to Silverman, now Messing. Nybor delivers a nice ball there for McClay. Looks like she might have been just offside if she had received that pass. Hoffman goes back to Messing. A freshman class trying to turn things around for Purdue Northwest. They've brought in a couple of very good players, both on and off the field in terms of character, looking to really turn this thing around in a new era. Jake Trudy hired as the head coach, hoping to turn around this fate after a long stint at Robert Morris University. Trudy looking to make an imprint on this Purdue Northwest program. They've gotten off to a decent start this afternoon after just really an abysmal performance last time out in their opener. Switzer delivers a soft lob in. It is currently a 16-match losing streak for the Pride. They have aspirations to change that up today. The Blue Devils have aspirations to continue their home success. And there goes Lauren Wozniak. In this 3-5-2 formation, the Blue Devils have run quite well during this season. A very flexible system. And 3 central defenders. A little bit of open space, a little bit of time here for Purdue Northwest to work with. Helping down that left side, now breaking free! The shot, and Purdue Northwest is on the board. It's the first goal in 317 days. They've come out here with aspirations to prove most wrong, and they've shown that early on. It is a 1-0 lead for Purdue Northwest. On the road, what a start for the Pride. Now the Blue Devils find themselves trailing at home for the first time. Looking to answer back. Here's Barnes. A little congested over there. Now Barnes serpentining her way free, looking for room. Over to Wozniak, looking to settle things down. Couldn't have asked for a better start if you're a Purdue Northwest fan. Found a little bit of open space through the middle there, a little bit of time to work with. And they capitalized. Believe that was Marissa Jane, the senior from Heartland, Michigan. Bologna. There's Nybor, now Mather. Pushing up the other way again, Switzer. With speed down that left-hand side, Shelby Ross. Jane had intentions for Ross there. Ross led the team in shots on goal last season, had 3 goals and 4 assists as a sophomore. Wozniak looking for an opportunity, took advantage of the opportunity to find a loose ball, but couldn't quite engineer what they hoped for that time. Almost 20 minutes into this one. This Purdue Northwest team under Jake Trudy comes in after, once again, a long stint at Robert Morris. Successful playing career at Aurora University. Played professionally for the Rockford Raptors. The Pride have come out with a dream start, but the Blue Devils hoping to turn things around. Sydney McClay, last player to score a goal for the Blue Devils. Here is Vega. Nice job defensively there from Bologna. It was a very well done counterattack for the Pride, and they capitalized. We believe it was Shelby Ross, the goal scorer, and it's 1-0 in favor of the visitors. Perhaps a little too much time given there, and here's Ross once more. McClay went down momentarily, grabbing what appeared to be her left ankle. A little gimpy getting up, hoping there's nothing wrong there. Here's Messing. Mather jolts in. Now to Nybor. Every time that ball is on her foot, you can feel a threat possibly coming. But this time she'll have to play it safely on back. Mather. Back she goes to Silverman. Smart, concise play there from Purdue Northwest, but Mather looking to break up the proceedings. Did a nice job of it. Now back it goes. Here's Barnes. Wozniak. Fortuitously back to Mather. Now Nybor. Stepping her way in. Turns on to the left foot. McClay. Mather. Looking to win those individual battles. The Blue Devils did that. And a shot that sails long from about 35 yards out there. Okay. So temperatures have exceeded about 85 degrees here. Humid, and that will merit a water break. That is what we are currently going through. So we'll be right back here on the LTU Sports Network. Again, 1-0 is the score in favor of Purdue Northwest, currently under a water break as temperatures are soaring and humidity is high as well here in the city of Southfield. One, two. Welcome back to the LTU Sports Network. Blue Devils trail 1-0. Rushing down the right-hand side. Here goes Nybor, looking to produce something. Water break, something that we haven't experienced so far this season. Feels like 94 outside. Humidity making the air feel thick and damp. It's been like that really all day today. Stepped out onto the field earlier, and you wondered how much conditioning would play a factor. We saw on last Saturday's football game where temperatures certainly soared prior to the lightning delay that there were a ton of cramps going on. And now here comes Alexis Barnes. It's hot, but she appears to have energy. Dropping it back nicely, but having to back off slightly was Bologna. Sydney Everts now back to Bologna. Hoffman now to Messing. Jordan Messing. Romeo, Michigan native. Talked about just how competitive of a preseason camp it was for this Blue Devil team. Plenty of new faces. Spoke to head coach Andy Richards before the game about all of those new faces blending together, the chemistry blending together, and he says he feels that it has come along and taken a little bit of time. It's come along though, and you get closer and closer to conference play. The Blue Devils just 3 more matches until the WAC opener against Madonna. That'll be a Friday night match, that rivalry match looking to resume. And it'll be under the lights right here on the LTU Sports Network. Erica Hoffman. Back to Messing. Shelby Ross. She has license to patrol just about everywhere on this field for Purdue Northwest. Slid on over for Nybor. And now the Pride looking to get back on the attack. It's like Schupbach and Jeanette, the 2 substitutions here in the first half for the Blue Devils. 19 minutes remaining in this first half in which they trail 1-0. Looking to change that here is Mather galloping up ahead. Couldn't find space. A nice job to get back defensively by Rachel Inglese, the junior, on that Purdue Northwest back line from Point, Indiana. Played 821 minutes a season ago. This is Nybor. Delivers into the box. And stepping out there rather calmly and rather poised, it was Stork. Haley Stork, the 5'2" goalkeeper. It'll be interesting to see. It was interesting to see coming into this one who would be in that goalkeeper position for this Purdue Northwest team after the 9-0 slaughtering that they took last time out in their opener. They're up 1-0. Their first goal of the season and their first goal in a while. It was October 6th, 2017. That was their last goal in a 3-1 loss at Northwood. Switzer Now here is Soto. Rihanna Soto looking out of Maryville, Indiana, the criminal justice major. Freshman hoping to make a positive impression on this new coaching staff for Purdue Northwest. She's come out and played with quite the effort. Bologna does a nice job to win that ball. Nice individual battles taking place in the midfield. Looking to create something here is Alexis Barnes. Long ball falls down right onto the chest of Vega. Now in that midfield once again, battles ensuing, but looking to break out come Purdue Northwest. Shup back goes down. Up ahead we go, Bologna. And now it's Mather. It's off the turn. Back to Bologna. She'll look and search. Jolted free by Silverman. Shupback took a spill. Passionate play, a passionate sequence, an eventful sequence. That one was. Purdue Northwest doing a good job of adjusting to where the ball is as a unit. They've stayed, for the most part, pretty compact on that back line that has performed quite well. Blue Devils have had a couple of chances with open space, but once again hustling back as Purdue Northwest, but looking for a little room here. Come the Blue Devils. There's a shot and a save made by Stork. Once the ball has gotten into their own half, the Pride have been able to limit gaps quite well and really staying marked up on their opponents as Mather wins the header. But coming in as a reinforcement was Marissa Jane, the senior, making a senior-like play there. Another tumble, and that time the foul charged to Purdue Northwest. That'll produce the free kick. It's in, header, and opportunity just pulls wide left. Barnes and Wozniak head off for a breather. Madison Smith out on the field for the Blue Devils to hope to utilize her speed here in these final 13 and a half minutes or so. There's Bologna. That time had intentions for Smith. Now she'll work it up, and little give and go there to no avail. Switzer, a duel that time with Sarah Trapp. Silverman. Now the Blue Devils find themselves in a defensive position. When worked correctly, that 3-5-2 formation can have a very solid central spine defensively. Blue Devils like to use that width formation that essentially has two wingbacks, wide midfielders, if you will, given license to patrol up and down those sidelines. We'll have a corner here. Blue Devils are able to pester Roosevelt with corners last Friday, 8 to be exact. Unable to get any kind of a threat going that time. Now back goes Switzer. Simply didn't have enough help. Shut back. Dancing. Finds Silverman. Sealed off and met well there. Stralley will waltz out onto the field, the nursing major from Chicago, Illinois, for Purdue Northwest. The ball in the vicinity of her, and now she'll get it down on her foot, finding it back over to Sydney Hansen. Here is Stralley. Looking for Kiana Chandler. Shelby Ross, the lone goal so far this afternoon, that is quickly turning into night, what will eventually be night, as these lights begin to take use, as this evening begins to settle in, the sun continues to set. This wonderfully renovated LTU athletic field, playing host to its second Under the Lights sporting event. Sydney Hansen, the freshman. The effort from Turley there was a rather risky one, and she takes the chance and succeeds. Four shots for Purdue Northwest. Two of those have been on goal. Shutback looking for Madison Smith, just a tad bit out ahead. Purdue Northwest trailed by a score of 3-0 after the first half of their opener and surrendered 6 goals in the second half. It was an absolute feeding frenzy. They have been able to flip around their fortune for the most part in this opening half. Blue Devils trying to muster up a bit more and what feels like they've had the energy, they've had the intention, but just unable to finish anything off so far to this point. It's been Purdue Northwest defensively collapsing quickly and meeting the ball when they've been threatened. Blue Devils hoping to produce some life into a crowd that did feel fairly stunned after that first goal. They obviously haven't witnessed any losses yet on the home turf. Blue Devils 3-0 at home. The lone loss was at Rio Grande last Tuesday. That was a hot and muggy night just like this one. Trying to turn that time was Madison Berry, the junior from Coatesville, Indiana. Had 58 goals at Cascade High School, second most in school history. One of the players they hope can produce this year. Here is Rihanna Soto. Had intentions for Pardis. Now it's Ayanna Reed off the bench, up ahead to Mather. Shupback looking to squeak through. Ayanna Reed. In with trap. The shot, and it was a rather easy, rather calm save once again there made by Stork. Ayanna Reed, a nice heady play there, though, bringing a boost of energy in. Here's Shupback, navigating, firing off the back heel that time of Rachel Inglese. And now the Blue Devils with another chance looking to settle things down. A shot once again deterred by that back line that has been steady, that has been compact, and that has been composed for this Purdue Northwest team. Final 5 minutes of this first half from the LTU athletic field. Ayanna Reed trying to win an emotional, passionate battle, that time toward that near side, going up against Pardis. Speaking of passionate, here's May Torres, very passionate defender herself. LTSN is back tomorrow night with another live broadcast. Our first WAC competition. The women's volleyball team opens up conference play at Don Riddler Fieldhouse. Excited for that one. First action at the Riddler. First of many on the LTU Sports Network for this upcoming fall and winter seasons. Winning the header there was Trapp, but right on back to Kiana Chandler it goes. Kiana Chandler, they're excited about her potential. First team all-conference in high school for this Purdue Northwest team. Freshman back there, and she's played well, and now Purdue Northwest will look to feed off of that. Pardis. Now Torres going up against Barry. Barry, the size advantage there at 5'8", strong on the ball, looking to keep it. Here's Barry once more in the midfield. This Purdue Northwest team has been strong on the ball, particularly in the midfield. If they haven't been accurate forward passes. It's been plays like that and knowing where they are and checking over their shoulders, searching for teammates. Final 2 minutes now of this first half. So again, the Blue Devils, both of these teams inching closer to conference play. Just 3 more matches for the Blue Devils until that conference opener. Next soccer broadcast will be Olivet College on the 16th as the women go away for about a week and a half. Once again, in clean and swift fashion through that midfield, go the Pride. Shelby Ross knowing where she wants to go, and she wanted to go to Soto. Here is Soto. Now back to Shelby Ross. Watched cautiously by Madison Smith. Ross delivers into the box and into the gloved hands of Madison Turley. Final minute now of this first half. Ayanna Reed looking to burst through the pack there. Didn't have quite enough reinforcements. Shupbach up there, Messing looking to make a play here. She goes down. And winning that challenge was Sydney Hansen. Final 10 seconds. Looking to wind this half down. Purdue Northwest. And the Blue Devils are hoping for a second half that will produce an equalizer. They trail 1-0 after one half. It was Shelby Ross about 9 minutes into this one. And the Blue Devils are down at home going into the half for the first time. We'll be back after the break here on the LTU Sports Network. Well, it had been 317 days since Purdue Northwest's last goal, and they ended that long drought. Now they're in search of ending a drought that has lasted them 682 days. That was their last victory. It is a 1-0 lead off the Shelby Ross goal. It was October 22nd, 2016 at Holy Cross. The last time this Purdue Northwest team had a W, and they got off to the dream start. It's currently a 16-match losing streak. The Blue Devils hoping to improve to 4-1 on the season. There's a shot that whistles wide, put on net that time by Sydney McClay. McClay at one point in that first half kind of bended down to her left and grabbed the left ankle. She appears to be okay. Alexis Barnes plays it back. Now the Blue Devils look to get things going with a long, quick ball ahead to McClay, but the intentions, the proceedings, that time broken up by Marissa Jane. Now looking to work her way free, went shut back. She went down hard. Long ball tossed in. Where did that go? And that header over top the net. Early second half opportunity for the Blue Devils coming out of the gates with some positive intentions. Randy Jeanette in off the bench, turning and looking up ahead. Went to Alexis Barnes. Shutback. She's been in the midst of the action quite a bit as nightfall begins to settle in here at LTU Athletic Field. The lights get closer and closer to taking full use. A time of turnover, and Madison Berry has been so strong on the ball throughout this one. Such a valuable asset for this Purdue Northwest team. Kind of playing that defensive midfielder role. Shutback will turn and go down to McClay. Here's McClay trying to get out ahead of Jane there. Bologna. It was Nybor rather on that left-hand side, trying to methodically approach her way in to the delight of a crowd that is in search of a boost of energy, and that opportunity will lead to a corner. Blue Devils have had 8 of these chances against Roosevelt. The delivery. Sent back out, chasing on after it goes Sydney Everts. This is Nybor. Excellent tackle that time from Sydney Everts. The trailer is Silverman from about 40 yards out there. 35. Pushing her way up with a spirit of adventure goes Shelby Ross, the lone goal scorer. Now Barry will go on over to Pardis. Purdue Northwest continues to work their way up, seemingly at will through that midfield. The side, the delivery into the box. Ross was there, but just had to look on. Now lofted down ahead, taking a high hop off the turf. The header from McClay on up. The junior defender, Sidney Everett's hoping to track this one down. Dansville, Michigan, the Jackson College transfer native. Started in all 16 games as a freshman at Jackson. Now here's Mather. Been physical at times out there when the situation has called for it. Looking to burst through that time was Nybor. Looking for room here. This is Lauren Wozniak on goal, but leaning to her right and trapping it once again in a composed fashion was Haley Stork, the freshman. She has had quite the debut. Big chance there. With visions of gold went Wozniak. Now going after it with passion is Mather. And that ball will sail on out. Mather went streaking down into the box. Now here's Shutback. Pardis. It's messing the senior defending over there. Wozniak, rather. The Blue Devils have won the lone matchup that these two teams have played. That was back in 2016, a 3-1 victory for the Blue Devils. August of 2016. It was one previous matchup. 7 Purdue Northwest players that played in that previous matchup are still left in search of revenge. And they currently lead 1-0. .33 minutes remaining on the clock for the Blue Devils in search of the equalizer. They've had a couple of decent opportunities early on in this second half. Now they'll look to settle things out here. Crowd trying to feed some energy into the blue and white. 3-0 at home on the season. A tough matchup ahead against Spring Arbor, the number 1 ranked Spring Arbor. That'll be at Spring Arbor next for the Blue Devils, as now Purdue Northwest looks to engineer something. Looking to settle this ball down here. It's Sydney Hansen. Five shots on goal for the Pride as this ball goes hopping up. Now here's Silverman. She'll go back after it and soft touch on over to Sydney Everts. The turn and another fierce job defensively from Purdue Northwest to get back and produce frustration for this Blue Devil side. Making a run after it that time was McClay. Kind of a sporadic sequence there. Randy Jeanette going up against Shelby Ross over on that right-hand side. Ross has been effective outside of just scoring that one goal so far, but that all-important one goal has us at this point with half an hour to play in regulation. Hustling back here are the Blue Devils. Turley's long delivery to the midfield. Chasing after it there, moving up into the midfield went Wozniak. Now here is Wozniak looking to navigate her way free. Has it now on her right foot, looking and searching, but to no avail. Marissa Jane had the lone shot on goal for Purdue Northwest last time out against Indianapolis. That 9-0 loss that, based off of what we've seen today, you wouldn't think they had suffered just a few days ago. Free through the midfield with open spaces are the Pride. Looking up here, Shelby Ross, can she score her second? Looks like it was offside. The flag went up. So the Blue Devils able to avoid a rush that appeared to have potential there for Purdue Northwest. Turning and looking. Switzer up ahead. Here comes Hansen. Knocked off by Jeanette. The header that time from Marissa Jane didn't take quite the route she wanted. Initially went on to the foot of Alexis Barnes, but now it has circled on back to Purdue Northwest, but Jane throws it in and throws it away. Here's McClay galloping with strides of intention down that right-hand side with speed building up. Edge of the area, looks and turns, but off the left foot that time of Amanda Logan, the freshman from Tinley Park, Illinois. That will produce a corner, though. Nybor. Now Barnes. Purdue Northwest ringing in a new era under head coach Jake Trudy in search of their first win under Jake Trudy. Currently leading 1-0 with 26:35 to play in this half. That time earning the foul was Silverman as she went barreling into her opponent. McClay got up a tad bit slow again there. And now, all of a sudden, looking to produce something, Purdue Northwest. Trying to squeak through on that side was Soto. We came into today knowing that this Purdue Northwest team did have a relatively experienced back line, and they have been a wall for the most part as nightfall has fully descended here. McClay chasing after it in an effort to try to keep it in play. Here is Marissa Jane, 10 starts as a junior, now in a leadership role as one of 6 seniors for the Pride. Hails from Heartland, Michigan, only about 35 minutes away from here. You'd think she might have some family in the stands tonight. We did see a couple of Purdue Northwest shirts. Certainly must be special to play so close to home as a senior. Going back to the state where you grew up playing from a young age as McClay went climbing her way downhill. Erica Hoffman looking to keep it away from the black shirts. Bologna, she now turns, being turned back on a nice defensive effort and a little bit of a shove afterwards as this game continues to take a chippy turn. Will the officials get involved? It's been a bit of a frustrating night, and temperature's starting to boil over a bit now. 22:10 to play here in this second half as time continues to dwindle down on this Blue Devil team in search of an equalizer. If they were to get one in these final 20 minutes, it would certainly be considered a clutch moment. Back it goes this time for Hansen. The freshman will play it up, looking for Soto. Now Silverman. Nybor was in the vicinity, but Purdue Northwest will claim possession right back. Five shots on goal for Purdue Northwest to 4 for the Blue Devils. Now we'll head to another water break. Welcome back to the LTU Sports Network. Approaching the final 20 minutes on this night of soccer here at LTU Athletic Field. The women trailing by a score of 1-0. It was a Shelby Ross goal about 10 minutes in. This one has a similar feel to it, a similar look to it as last Friday when, although the Blue Devils were on the better side of the 1-0 deficit against Roosevelt. And now leading ahead goes McClay. In search of the equalizer, the Blue Devils go. Turning and firing was Wozniak, unable to get the kind of luster on it that she desired that time. Strahler chases after it. The header from Silverman, the Detroit Mercy transfer. Now back it goes. Here's Silverman once more. She'll have to chase this one down, unable to stay on that ball. And the exact opposite has been Purdue Northwest. Purdue Northwest tonight, they've really been strong on those balls in the midfield. Such a crucial area of this one. They've kind of glided right through with ease, and they've been quite strong. Here's Marissa Jane. Just playing it on down, and Randy Jeanette will have the opportunity for the throw-in. McClay heads out for the breather. She's done her fair share of running in this humid, damp weather. Temperatures exceeding 90 degrees today. Feels like about 95 down there with humidity. Mather went down that time. A sense of urgency in the step of this Blue Devil team now. The kick sent in from Silverman springs the Blue Devils all the way back, and now they'll be sprung back into a defensive mindset. Looking to get on this one, Nybor looking to squeak her way through on that left-hand side. Attempting to build up the anticipation. Nybor went in, delivered one into the box. Now back out it goes. Little nifty foot there, and a nice play made by Shupback. This will lead in Sarah Trapp, trying to knife her way down. She's got the trailer, Bologna. '73rd minute here at the LTU Athletic Field. This crowd, these supporters, with quiet anticipation, quiet anxiety, hoping for an equalizer from their girls, who have gotten off to a good start to the season at 3-1, surrendered an early goal. The battle continues between Bologna and Ross. Bologna's delivery into the box off the head of Mather. And now chasing back after it goes Soto. Down ahead, looking to settle things down, Sydney Everett. Substitutions on both sides. Shelby Ross checks out after a long stint. Randy Jeanette will head to the sideline as well. Alexis Barnes back in for the Blue Devils. The sophomore from Middleville, Michigan, started 15 of 16 games a season ago. Now rushing down this left side again, Nybor, dazzling. Mather able to keep up the effort. Unable to quite breach that wall, that last line of defense. This is Mather, hoping to turn. Bologna. Oh, there's a shot delivered. Quite possibly the best chance of the night for the Blue Devils and quite possibly the best save we've seen all night. It's been a brilliant performance from Stork, and she continues it there. Haley Stork, one for the highlight reel, diving to her right, preventing the equalizer. Back up ahead, it's Trapp looking to settle this ball down. (13:22) and ticking in this second half. Almost able to strip that free on that left-hand side. Sarah Trapp, the senior, hovering over there. Expected her to be a part of a lively attack tonight. The Blue Devils have had their chances, but just unable to get past. Here is Sarah Trapp once more. Into the box, the ball went. Just on the edge of that 6-yard box. And Blue Devils now applying a little bit of pressure in the late stages, the late desperate stages, as these fans, these supporters look on. A little bit of open spaces there for Purdue Northwest, unable to produce anything out of it. Streaking down the middle there went Kristen Stralley out of Chicago, Illinois. A starter in 9 of 14 games a season ago as a freshman for Purdue Northwest. That 0-15 season, 0-9 in conference play season that Purdue Northwest suffered through. They lost their opener by a score of 9-0 and trying to snap a 16-match losing streak. They're a little over 11 minutes away from doing just that, unless the Blue Devils can find a way to produce this equalizer that they are in desperate search of right now. McClay makes her way back in for shut back. Silverman backpedaling, awaiting, and delivering. Arriving on scene that time, Sarah Trapp. A desperate and energetic effort. Over to Sydney McClay. Looking. Nice ball through. Looking back for Trapp, now giving chase Hoffman. Here is Hoffman. Approaching quickly. Not waiting. That defense for Purdue Northwest haven't given the Blue Devils much time in the midfield, and once they've entered that Purdue Northwest half, has not been much time to work with. They've had to kind of create their own room. There hasn't been very much given. They've closed out the gaps quickly and in a concise fashion. Prime example there, a passionate example of getting back. Now they'll clear back to the midfield. Right onto the foot of Nybor. With momentum. Drops it back. Trap. That rolls wide, and these Blue Devil fans look up to the heavens once more in search of answers. Wozniak, one of the offensive threats. She has officially ended her last breather of the night, making her way back in. Sarah Trapp will head over to the sideline. McClay trying to close. Switzer up ahead with room. Strally down ahead, and a nice job done by the white jerseys to get it on back. Back the other way, here's Wozniak. Fresh off the bench with a boost of energy on this artificial turf. Down ahead they go. And this game has burst into energy over these past few sequences. Plenty of space starting to open up. So we'll go back in favor of Lawrence Tech. 7.5 to play. The sporadic nature of these last few minutes continues. Will this be a corner? It will. We typically see Elaine Nybor taking this role. You can sense the importance of this moment, and certainly she can sense the importance of this moment. Cleared on out there. No threat really produced. Testing the legs, testing the energy now. Rushing up ahead down that right-hand side. Shelby Ross delivering the crosser. Goes wide, and that might have just done it. Right in front, long ball, delivered the cross from Shelby Ross. And it appeared to be Marissa Jane putting the final stamp on a match tonight that has gone in favor of this Purdue Northwest team, and these last few minutes of urgency, anticipation, and anxiousness they'll award the goal to Kristen Stralley. The sophomore from Chicago, off the bench. Blue Devils had a couple of chances. Nybor on the corner delivery, unable to quite produce anything. There's another shot, another save made that time from Stork, who has been responsible for the Blue Devils' lack of production tonight on the board. They've had their chances, but you certainly have to give credit to the freshman goalie, Haley Stork, making her debut. It came in knowing that it would be interesting to find out who would be playing that goalkeeper role for this Purdue Northwest team, and Stork came in, really stepped up, and certainly made an impression to what she could possibly do in the future for this Purdue Northwest team. Under 5 minutes to play now. The Blue Devils in search for the improbable. Torres over there defensively. Messing. The freshman Miranda Blake, 5'3" from Sheboygan Area High School, will check in for the first time tonight for the Blue Devils. These final minutes counting down on a night that will go down as a pretty disappointing one for the Blue Devils, but they'll look to bounce back. A tough Spring Arbor team is ahead. That'll be September 21st at 7 p.m. that we will have the next LTSN broadcast of LTU Women's Soccer versus Olivet College. Not too long after, WAC play will get underway with Madonna. Blue Devils looking forward to conference play. Last two seasons have ended with first-round losses in the WAC tournament, looking to turn around that fortune this year, have aspirations that are deeper than the first round. Under 4 minutes to play now in regulation. Blue Devils have not been shut out yet this season. Worthy of noting that this Purdue Northwest team does go up on a consistent basis against some of the tougher competition in the state. Northwood, Northern Michigan. They have come in ready and prepared, coming off a difficult loss against Indianapolis, 9-0. Difficult will be an understatement. And boy, have they bounced back from that 9-0 defeat. Looking to really turn that around tonight. And they certainly have. A couple of Purdue Northwest fans in the stands. Marissa Jane from Heartland, Michigan. One of the reasons for these Purdue Northwest supporters showing up this afternoon. Here's Kiana Chandler, the freshman, who will certainly be learning from the likes of Marissa Jane, who will now tee this one up. 10 starts as a junior for Jane, taking over that leadership role as Purdue Northwest looks to turn around their program. This will be a momentous occasion for their program under new head coach Jake Trudy, beginning the new era. This is a program that has not won a match since October of 2016, coming off an 0-15 season, an 0-9 year in conference play, and they are 1 minute and 40 seconds away from snapping a very significant drought in program history. The corner, a little bit of danger there. Approaching the final 60 seconds now. Once again, LTSN back tomorrow night on the LTU Athletics YouTube channel. WAC opener for our women's volleyball team tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on the LTU Athletics YouTube channel. Men's soccer will get to play on this beautiful field for the first time later this week as they host the Blue Devil Classics tournament. And that will also be on the LTU Sports Network as time winds down on this night that the Blue Devils will hope to forget. They'll hope to move on. Lawrence Tech drops to 3-2. And quite the significant night, certainly giving credit to Purdue Northwest and what they were able to piece together this night. Haley Stork, the freshman, had a spectacular performance. Her first opportunity to play that goalkeeper role, and she played it quite well. The back line was a wall that Lawrence Tech was just unable to ever crack. Still a 3-2 start for the Blue Devils. Spring Arbor up next. Looking ahead to conference play. Still plenty to play for the Blue Devils. Still plenty to look forward to. Head coach Andy Richards instilling an excellent mindset into his team. Certainly will put this one behind them, and they'll certainly bounce back. And we'll have those matches coming up for you throughout the season as we wrap up our fourth broadcast of LT Women's Soccer. It was a pleasure to have you. Signing off on this lovely night, hoping that you have a wonderful night. I'm Jason Ross Jr. So long.